Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's edition of SICW Championship Wrestling. And happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody as we bring you the best in professional wrestling as we continue our recap of SICW Fanfest IV. And as you saw last week, the Big Texan and I took you on a little trip back in time. And today we're going to do that same thing. Being Memorial Day weekend, we wanted to show you a match between the sheriff of SICW, the Big Texan, taking on the man from the Soviet Union, Neil Koloff, a member of the famous Koloff family, with Nikita Koloff in attendance. Take a look at this. Wrestling fans, here we are, FanFest IV at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center in Fairview Heights, Illinois. And I wanted to bring you this match here tonight because being Memorial Day weekend, what better match to have with the Big Texan against the one and only Nikita Koloff, there you see in the blue shirt, and his family, Neil Koloff. What a war this was. And right here you see special guest referee Mark Charles III in the suspenders, a throwback to the old days of refereeing. And right there, Mark, you can see really giving the instructions to both teams. It appears that Neil Koloff and Nikita Koloff was having quite a bit of a discussion there. And what this was is the referee was telling Nikita Koloff, you're not able to be at ringside. You need to get back to the dressing room, away from the ring. And you see the Big Texan, the sheriff of SICW, kind of just stalking around the ring. He'd been looking for this match. Both of these men never have met before, but right here in front of a capacity crowd during SICW Fanfest IV. And what a weekend this was. And I couldn't think of a better way to end it off than at the Bruiser Brody Memorial right here. And this was one of the matches that took place. I promised you that we would bring you some highlights from some of these matches and maybe some of their matches in their entirety. It all depends on the time that we have. But I just thought with it being the holiday weekend here that the Big Texan and Neil Koloff from the Soviet Union would come on here and show you what it's all about, celebrating this Memorial Day weekend with us. And there you see Neil jumps back out and goes back out to consult with wrestling legend Nikita Koloff as you see him walking back towards the SICW curtain there. Now Neil gets back in the ring. The referee says, "This one's on the way, gentlemen. Let's lock it up." I want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you who came out and supported this great event. All the vendors, I mean the host of them, over 60 plus wrestling legends and special guests converged on Fairview Heights, Illinois. I want to give a special shout out to the city of Fairview Heights, Illinois, to Mayor Mark Kupski. His whole staff rolled out the red carpet, and also to the staff members of the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. Crystal, the general manager, they admitted to us afterwards, "Oh, there you go. Now watch this." I mean, the crowd just said, "Hey, we'll show you what the USA is all about," as the Big Texan begins to wave "Old Glory." And of course, Neil Koloff not at all happy about that. Texan hands that flag back down to our ring announcer and voice of SICW All-Star Championship Wrestling, Drew Ebenhaus. Neil wanting to extend the hand out, and the Texan says, "Well, wait a minute, I wasn't barned last night. I think I'll have to reconsider this a little bit." Both of these men, monsters in a ring, and there you see a big right hand delivered by Neil Koloff. But that doesn't stop the Texan. Back and forth, rights and lefts, back and forth, hammer and tong, as they used to say. And fans, while we're watching this action take place, I want to once again give condolences out to the family of Roger Bailey, better known by many of us as Big Daddy, who passed away a short time ago. Big Daddy was a voice of St. Louis Wrestling, Worldwide Wrestling Magazine for many, many years. Him and the Giant Assassin and Pete Parisi just really mixed up the wrestling world with places that they would go out and film. And there, the Big Texan drops that big elbow. Dropped it right down on Neil Koloff. Big Texan, he looks like he's over in the corner. He may be winding up for that massive lariat that he gets ready to deliver, but I think Neil Koloff's probably done some studying on the Big Texan. Saw him backing up into that corner and said, "Let me take a little walk around the ring and see what the fans have got to say." And now Texan says, "Well, wait a minute, if you want to go outside, I'll show you what it's like, what we do here in SICW. Ring around the ring." Neil jumps in, Texan comes in behind him, and Neil's waiting for him with those big boots. Neil Koloff, from the famous Koloff family. We all know the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff, was here with us. You saw him in the ring just short ago. And so many legends. Greg the Hammer Valentine was sitting in the audience watching this match. The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Bill DeMott, and Robert Gibson, one half of the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, a list of who's who in this business. And Neil Koloff now, drops that big forearm right into the mid of the back of the Texan, goes for the cover, and only a count of 1, Reverse chin lock applied by Koloff. Referee checking to make sure it doesn't slip down into a chokehold. Fans, this took place at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center in Fairview Heights, Illinois. A very nice hotel and conference center. Plenty of room, plenty of free parking. In fact, as announced last week when the Big Texan and I came to you, we will be back there next year. Yeah, that's right. We're already talking about 2027 Fanfest V, May 14th and 15th. Right back here in this same room, you will see SICW Fanfest V taking place, and I'm in shock that here we are a couple of weeks out and people are still talking about the excitement and about all the people that they met, the legends, the SICW locker room. We had representation from IEW, from Mid-States Championship Wrestling, several other organizations, the vendors, Womack Collectibles. We had Chris Owens there with the Andre the Giant memorabilia display. We had Falls Count everywhere, Dave Ruby and Z-Miz. It was just an awesome event. I will tell you that next year it will be, the action will start on that Friday, May 14th date, and it will run all afternoon Friday and into the evening hours, and then all day Saturday. Already announced one of the first inductees into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame will be somebody who was with it. Oh, wait a minute. He lines up with that big lariat, misses, ducks, and a sidewalk slam. And it's Koloff count of 1, 2, and the sheriff kicks out. Just that quick. The Big Texan saw a opening and he tried to take it. Koloff dodged it. And it's now the Texan trying to get up to his feet as it's Koloff now setting him up. Texan in the corner. Koloff runs in. He misses it. Oh, a schoolboy roll up. Count of 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. The Big Texan, just that quick, comes up with the victory over Neil Koloff. Oh, right there. He goes right to work on the Big Texan. He is not stopping there. Referee trying to get him apart. Fans, this one is over, but I don't think we've heard the end of Neil Koloff and the Big Texan. And right now, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, you're going to hear from Big Nasty Glenn Williams.
Everybody, What Were They Thinking is proud to be a part of the show with Herb Simmons at SICW.
Show some enthusiasm, Joe. Put on a damn bow tie. We got Herb Simmons. We got the Kill Arena. We got St. Louis, where Mr. Briscoe is in the Hall of Fame. What Were They Thinking? It's available on Backstage Pass. Sportskeedas, our buddies. We talk about the wildest, the craziest, the dumbest, the insane moments in wrestling history that I'm proud to be a part of because, Mr. Briscoe, you're the one that hired me.
And I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, John.
That's not nice. Not nice at all. We love Herb Simmons. And Herb Simmons, you have been there forever. Mr. Briscoe thinks you might be 1,000. I don't think you're a day over 900. We love St. Louis. What were they thinking, Backstage Pass?
I think it's crazy that Herb Simmons is now ducking me. I was so pissed off that I said the next time I was going to see him, he didn't want to see me. And he stopped answering his phone. Can you imagine that? I've been calling him and texting him and calling him, and he won't respond. He's ducking me. And the funny thing is that he's on Facebook all night long like Lionel Richie. He's on that thing, and he's posting about everyone and everything except for me, and except giving me an answer. He wants to troll me, but won't answer my calls. So I'm going to take it upon myself this week. Folks, we're going to take a field trip on Nasty Talk because I'm looking for Herb Simmons. Well, I said we're taking a field trip, and here we are. We're in the parking lot of the East Carondelet Community Center now. If I know Herbie spends some time here on the weekends, and I see some cars in the parking lot, so we're gonna see if someone's gonna be brave enough to answer the door for me so I can talk to Herb Simmons, because he's ducking me. Let's go find out, shall we? Is that a field trip? And that's what we're gonna get. It's a special episode, folks. Now, I used to know the code from when we were doing Ace Wrestling Academy all the time, so I can't show you that. We're trying to get in here. Change the code too. Doesn't answer my phone, it changes the code. Are you kidding me? Okay, they changed the code. Okay, hello? Herb Simmons! It looks like a small building, it's kind of a big building, but he probably doesn't hear me. Come on guys, someone let me in, hello? There's a door around this way, so let's go this way. Be careful, watch your step. Pay good money for this. I can't believe that I have to do this. If you would just answer my calls and meet me like a man, all this would go away, but no, you got me out here looking like a bad girlfriend. Let me try and see if the code still works on this one. There's a frog, isn't it? They changed the code on both doors. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I can't even train now? Ooh. Somebody better let me in. I'm getting pissed. This is embarrassing. This is every time he embarrasses me. I'm so sick of this. I swear to God, when I find Herb, I swear to God. All right, let's go. We're going to try the back door. The light's on, so somebody's here. This is bull crap. Hello! The front door's blocked off. Okay, actually, I forgot all about it. I know a secret way in, so for legal purposes, I'm going to go find my secret way into the building, and I cannot film it just to cover my back, and that's per Lucky P. Larson's advisements over the time I've spent with him. So what we're gonna do is take a quick commercial break, and we'll get right back to you. Go ahead and cut that camera.
Go to buildup.com and use promo code winner123 for 20% off your whole order right now.
That's a bulletproof glass, apparently, because it didn't break. I wasn't trying to break in anywhere, actually. I was just kidding. That's a joke. Okay, so plan B. Herb lives around here. I don't know where because no one's ever told me. Don't know why. I'm never invited to anything. But we're going to go find where his house is. That's what we're doing. This field trip is evolving. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. Let's go find Herb's house. This is a very small town. Literally everybody knows each other. I'm going to go find him. Here we go. Let's go up here and see if we can find him. What about this house over here? Hang on. I don't see his car anywhere. Herb? Herb Simmons! Oh, Herb! I bet I see him. This is a small town. He's got to be here somewhere. Herb! Is that you? I'm so sorry that we can't do the show like normal, but I have got to talk to... I mean, I'm so angry. Herb? Wait a second. Look at that. Over there. I told you somebody was there. All right. Look, when we pull up here, I need you to get out with me. Okay? Go on this side so nobody hits you with a freaking car, though, because these idiots out here. Jordan? You didn't hear me knocking on the door? Were you inside the whole time? What do you mean? What am I doing here? Dude, where's your grandpa? You're gonna have to call, dude. He has not answered my phone calls. You guys having a party? Nobody invited me? Are you kidding me?
We're having a party for my daughter tomorrow.
Where was my invitation?
You didn't get it?
No.
Herb told me not to send you one.
What is his deal, dude? Call him.
I'm not calling him.
Bro, he won't answer my calls. He's ducking me. You guys are gonna let all this happen, or is everybody happy I get screwed like that? Are you kidding me? What is this? Oh, wow. Wow. Of course. There's no problem at all, actually. I was just telling Jordan, to wish his daughter happy birthday, actually. It's amazing. They grow up so fast. Just let your grandpa know I'm looking for him. We're cool. Get in the car. Let's go. We're good.
Well, fans, there you have it. That was this week's edition of Nasty Talk. Like him or not, the man is never lost from words, and he's a disgruntled as you can see. But right now, taking you back to another great match that took place at the FanFest 4, we're talking about a tag match that saw the dangerous Doug Gilbert, that's right, dangerous Doug Gilbert, and the Wildfire Tommy Rich teaming up to go against Devastations Incorporated leader Stephen E. and Attila Khan. Take a look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following matchup is a tag team match. Set for one fall, 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, representing Saudi Arabia, he is the Merchant of Violence, Stephen E. His partner is from Mongolia. He is the international bounty hunter, Attila Khan. They are Devastation Incorporated. Their opponents, first from Lexington, Kentucky, 220 pounds, dangerous Doug Gilbert. His tag team partner is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He is the former NWA Heavyweight Champion, Tommy Wildfire Rich. Referee is Bill Henson.
Well, wrestling fans, this is another match that all the fans were waiting for, and this was a wild one. I'm telling you, dangerous Doug Gilbert and the Mongolian monster Attila Khan battling there in the ring. And of course, somebody said, let's get fired up. Tommy Wildfire Rich in there, tied up there with the leader of Devastation Incorporated, Stephen E. This was a match that got signed because of a war that took place last year between Tommy Wildfire Rich and Attila Khan that started off down in Shawneetown, Illinois, which where we will be going this coming June the 6th, back to Shawneetown for Coal Festival Days. And that feud went through the whole year, ended up over in Collinsville, Illinois, where Tommy Rich and Attila Khan went through that place top to bottom and just had an all-out war there. Ended up on television here, and then it ended up that Tommy Wildfire Rich and dangerous Doug Gilbert come together for this match right here to take on Stephen E. and Attila Khan. And you can see already at the opening of this match, they're outside, Dr. Drew trying to get out of the way, throwing him into the guardrails. There you see our cameraman Mark trying to get some good photos there. Doug Gilbert now with Attila Khan. And fans, these two will meet on June the 6th in Shawneetown, Illinois. This year, it will be in a steel cage match. I want to thank our good friend, the Fire Chief Terry there for Coal Festival Days. You see Stephen E. now working on Wildfire Tommy Rich. Rich now battling back. Referee in there counting on him. Bill Henson trying to restore order. All four men spending more time outside the ring than inside, and that's one reason why when we go to Shawneetown, Illinois on June the 6th, Attila Khan and dangerous Doug Gilbert will be locked inside of a steel cage. Gilbert now following Attila Khan. Catches up with him, battling back and forth inside the ring. Tommy Rich whips off Stephen E. Reverse elbow. And Stephen E., the man who a short time ago wanted to take over SICW. And thanks to my good friends, Ron Powers, Danny Boy, And the Night Train, Gary Jackson, coming to the aid of SICW. They were able to hold off Attila Khan, Haku, and the Barbarian. And boy, what a night that was not too long ago in Belleville, Illinois. All four men back in the ring now. Referee Bill Henson trying to determine who the legal man is in the ring. Fans, this is the action you'll only see at SICW. We'll also be going to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June the 7th. Two big shows that afternoon, one at 2:30 in the afternoon and one later on in the evening before the big race takes place. So come on out to the Worldwide Technology Raceway and be part of racing and wrestling. Right now, it is just good old school wrestling right here at the Radisson Hotel in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Tommy Wildfire Rich with Attila Khan draped over that middle rope. And there you see Doug Gilbert with that baseball bat that he carries around with him. You have to when you're going up against the likes of Attila Khan and Stephen E. from Devastation Incorporated. Gilbert puts that boot up and the head of Attila gets introduced into it. Now, Stephen E. flipped inside the ring by Tommy Rich. It looks like we may have a meeting of the mind right here going to take place. Oh, wait a minute, no. Oh, Attila. Slow to get Tommy Rich. But now they're tied back up. Doug Gilbert, Attila. Tommy Rich and Stephen E. in the other corner. Tommy putting that shoulder into the midsection of Stephen E. Attila delivering those big right hands to Doug Gilbert. Breaks the eyes. Bill Henson, I think, is just, I don't know, he says, I don't know, these are four huge men in there, and I can't control them there. They do a do-sti-do, and it's Tommy Rich and Wildfire, and Doug Gilbert reverses that. You see Attila hanging on the rope with his feet in the ring. Stephen E. working on Tommy Rich. Doug Gilbert right there at ringside working on Attila Khan. Fans, if you can make it down to Shawneetown, Illinois, June the 6th, you don't want to miss that war inside of a steel cage between them two. Stephen E. tried to do a splash on Tommy Rich in the corner. Tommy Rich got out of the way. Now a DDT. He rolls him over. He hooks the leg and count of 1, 2, 3, and just that quick, the legend himself, Tommy Wildfire Rich and Dangerous Doug Gilbert will score the victory over Stephen E. and Attila Khan. Fans, don't go away. We got to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to give you a little special treat of the one and only Mick Foley while he was at SICW Fanfest IV.
You know, I had a conversation with my brother, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, the other day, and he had mentioned to me he was going to be in Shawneetown, Illinois on June the 6th in a steel cage match with Attila. Well, I got to talking to him and telling him about the situation I had the last time I was in Shawneetown, and you know, we fought in the street, fought around the building, and so anyway, and he had his manager interfering. So I talked to Dangerous Doug, and we had a conversation that he said he'd be willing to step aside as long as I talked to Herb Simmons and Jason with SICW, and of course I had to talk to the fire chief right there in Shawneetown. Hey, but with me talking to him, it's all coming to a head. Doug decided he'd step aside and give me the opportunity to settle it once and for all right there in Shawneetown. Thank you, Fire Chief, man. Really appreciate you changing your mind, and Herb and Jason, y'all changing your mind. And what it comes down to now then, Attila, June the 6th, we took it all over the streets. You had your manager interfering. Well, this time, it's going to come down to you and me, man to man. Because with this steel cage match, you can't get out, I can't get out, and can't nobody get in. June the 6th, Shawneetown. Hey, if you wasn't at the last one, you better be there for this one. June the 6th, Shawneetown. Somebody say something. It's going to get nasty.
Feels good to be champions, champions. Feels good to be champions.
Join us for the SICW Annual Coal Festival Days, Saturday, June 6th at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free. Don't miss the action in Shawneetown, Illinois.
Years of Foley tour, and it's been a great time. But I've never had the occasion to have so my peers or my colleagues here listening to me. So I better make this thing good, right? I better make this thing good. So long time ago, wrestler told me if a story's it's worth coloring up a little bit. So these stories will be slightly exaggerated for your listening pleasure. But we can just ask you to put the phones down after a couple minutes. You take a 5-second pause, but there's always a chance that we're working on a news story. You say something maybe you wish you wouldn't have, and all of a sudden, yeah, it's not about a camaraderie. It's about something showed up, popping up on the internet. So let's put those phones down, because I've noticed a great correlation between how many phones there are out there and how honest I can be. So. We want to have a lot of fun tonight. I'm so honored Barbara Goodish is going to be joining me, not just yet, but for the Q&A part. So, where this is going to go, I'm going to tell an hour of slightly exaggerated stories, if you're listening, pleasure, and then Barbara is going to come up and she's going to join me for the Q&A, which makes me really happy, and we'll honor Bruiser Brody's memory, and hopefully you have some good questions for Barbara as well. But we're going to take it off just like a stroll down memory lane. And I was trying to think of ways I could make this show a little bit special. So I'm going to start right at the beginning of my career. I'm going to take you to my 3rd or 4th workout with a grizzled veteran named Dominic DiNucci. Dominic DiNucci was the man who trained me. And I had started out on a ring crew in the New York metropolitan area, where 2 weekends a month I would drive. I'm from Cortland, New York, where I was going to school. About 500 miles round trip, and if I could set up the ring by myself, I had to take it out of the storage unit. All this time, Bruno, have you ever heard of a ring that was not in a truck but in a storage unit? On the 8th floor of the big yellow storage building, I had to take it out piece by piece by myself, load it into a freight elevator by myself, take it out of the freight elevator by myself, put it into the green truck by myself, drive it to whatever armory or gymnasium we happen to be wrestling in. And if I could get that bad boy set up by myself, then Dominic DiNucci would train me. Now I don't want to use finger quotes, but train me meant stretch my body in ways I didn't know my body could be stretched. Quite honestly, he instilled an instant respect in me. I remember the very first, I said we're going to start at workout number 3. The very first thing he said to me was, let me see a forearm. I thought, okay, I know how to do this. I watched a lot of wrestling. So what I did is, he was in the turnbuckle, and I lifted my right arm up high like this. And when I brought it down, on his torso while actually making little to no or actual torso-to-torso contact. I simultaneously stomped my left foot on the ground so it looked and sounded something like this. And he looked at me and said, "You think this is a rest?" He didn't call it wrestling, he called it a rest. And I looked at him like it was a trick question. I go, "Well, of course it is. I watched the run rest, and this is exactly what it is." And then he turned me around, and he put my back up against the turnbuckle, and he lifted his right arm high into the Brooklyn air. But when he brought it down, it didn't make little to no torso contact with my torso. It made complete 100% unadulterated contact on my torso. And he didn't do it once, he did it over and over and over again. And he goes, "This is a rest, this is a rest." And the craziest thing about it all, I didn't see his left foot stomping the mat at all. And I was only 19 years old, but I thought to myself, he's doing it wrong. And then he just battered me down. He never hit me in the face, collarbone, anything like that. But he battered me and instilled in me an instant respect. And he said, "That, my boy, is a rest." And I realized I was in a world of trouble. A world of trouble. But my work number 3 or 4, he saw something in me. And he had me do a training session comprised completely of learning how to take a back body drop. Now you don't see the back body drops too often, and I don't want to be like one of those old grizzled guys telling kids to get off my lawn. But a back body drop is the only offensive move initiated by somebody being over in the middle of the ring so you can launch somebody up into the air, right? Now answer me this, downtown Bruno. If there are no back body drops, why would someone bend down in the middle of the ring knowing that 47 bad things can happen to them while nothing good except the back body drop that's the whole reason you do it. So I maintain, if you want to have reasons for people to bend over in the middle of matches, you have to make the back body drop mean something. That's just me being old school, all right? That's me being old school. But the back body drop is so important. Am I right, Jimmy? How did I not point you out, baby? Yeah. Love you, baby. Am I doing okay, Jimmy? As a master orator, thumbs up? Okay. But you know, in Memphis, when you were managing Bruno, when you had all those guys, Bobby, like every baby face, that was the hallmark of every comeback was the big back body drop. And if you were a heel, and you could take a good back body drop, and you could start getting booked solely on the idea that you could make good guys or baby faces look good. Now, unfortunately, the only way to learn to take a good back body drop is by taking an awful lot of bad back body drops. Each and every one of them will knock the wind out of you. Am I right, Steve Lombardi? Every single time you ran a little off center, wind knocked out of you. Wind knocked out of you. We did this for about 45 minutes. And Dominic DiNucci, who at that point had never given me a compliment, pulled me aside, and when he gave me a compliment, it was meaningful and it was a good one. It's one I'll never forget. He said, "Mickey, every time I see you, I beat the shit out of you." And I nodded my head and acknowledged that was true. And he said, "But you never say a word. Today I give you 25 back drop. Singular. Seems to be a thing with first generation immigrants, all right? Not knocking them up. Case in point, Pat Patterson lived in the United States for the last 60 years of his life. Never quite got the singulars and plurals down, did he? He would say things like, "Oh, this crowd is going to go banana." One banana. Really? Oh, completely not? One not. So keep that in mind as Dominic DiNucci gives me the biggest compliment of my life up to that point. He said, "You never complain. Today I give you 25 back drop. My boy, you have a ball." Just one. You want to see what biggest? It's not grapefruit size, volleyball size. And that became my first gimmick. Every time we did an independent show, there was like one or two names that people knew from television. And Dominic would introduce his voice to them. He goes, this is a Troy. Troy later went on to be Shane Douglas, so the Dynamic Dudes. Troy's a good boy. This is a Mickey. He's a little green, but he's got a ball. That big, right? And that was how I started getting booked, because I could get the back body drop. And I'm going to tell you, there are things that happen that I sometimes consider a big break to be a smaller series of breaks. And one of the biggest breaks in my life happened in the town of Pascagoula, Mississippi. I started getting booked and got a full-time job, my first full-time job in 1988, the Memphis territory. Moved on to world class, where I started dropping elbows off ring aprons, and I started getting some notice as someone who can make people look good, but also make the matches fun and unique. I broke my wrist in a scaffold match and went home to recuperate, and when I returned, it was for Robert Fuller in Continental Championship Wrestling, where me and this young man, downtown Bruno, comprised 2/3 of the Sun Up Cruisers, right? Is that our name, the Sun Up Cruisers? So we would go out all night, we'd shoot pool, I'd have a big buffet, that was all I could afford, that was all the food of the day. I somehow managed to gain weight even while I was starving, if that makes sense. But Robert Fuller, he was a mentor, and he was somebody who believed in me when I wasn't sure I believed in him. He was telling me I was going to make it one day, and I took everything he said to heart. It was like sitting underneath the learning tree every time I had a chance to drive abroad. And on the way to Pascagoula, Mississippi, I knew I was going to be facing the returning veteran, Rotten Ron Starr. Now, even in a die-hard wrestling community like this, show of hands if you know who Rotten Ron Starr is. Okay, all right, okay. That's good. That's good. You know who Rotten Ron Starr is? You know, enjoy the story. Because it had a major effect on me. And Robert, we're driving, he goes, Jacko, little worried about you and Ron Starr tonight. And I said, why is that? He goes, well, a few years back, me and Jimmy, that'd be his first cousin, Jimmy Golden, right? Went on the famous Bunkhouse Buck in WCW. A few years back, me and Jimmy gave him a double back suplex. Broke his neck. Not sure he's gotten around to forgiving us yet. I'm afraid he might take it out on you. I don't know if you know this, Rob, but I don't curse very often, right? Maybe I'll drop one F on you, I'm not sure. I'll feel it out. It's like a finishing move, okay? I don't know where it's coming, it could come out of nowhere. I'll tell you this though, if I get a standing ovation for one bad word, it feels an awful lot like being in the middle of a sold out Madison Square Garden, okay? So I knew only a little bit about Ron Starr. I knew he had 5 or 6 outstanding lawsuits from fans. He had beaten the crap out of at ringside. True, right? I also knew he was the first wrestler to break legitimate beer bottles over his head in promotional interviews. So if you've ever seen anyone stupid enough to do that type of thing, since then, someone like me, I got it from Ron Starr. And add to that the idea that he supposedly suffered flashbacks and hallucinations from his time in Vietnam. I won't say I was scared, because even as a youngster I was still Cactus freaking Jack, but I was concerned. And so I approached Ron Starr with as much respect as I could. He was in the corner, he was lacing up his boots, and I said, Mr. Starr, my name's Cactus Jack. Is there anything you'd like to do out there tonight? He didn't even raise his head. He just lifted an eyeball and said, I'll see you in the ring. At this point, I was officially scared. And then I locked up with Rotten Ron Starr in Pascagoula, Mississippi, in front of a very small crowd. And there was magic in the air. I didn't have to remember anything. I was acting and I was reacting. Ron Starr beat my ass all over that arena. I've become quite good at having my ass beaten around ringside. But this was a whole new set of skills. And this is where it pays to be a glass half full guy, okay? Because Bruno, you were there with me in Memphis, you were there with me in Continental. There were not many people in those crowds, were there? We would pull up to a building days before GPSs and Bruno would go, here's a building without any people in it, this might be our... There were some small crowds. But now a glass half empty guy, they would look out at all those the small crowds in the dying days of the territories and they would say, oh, look at all those empty chairs. Where I would look out and go, look at all those empty chairs. And what kind of trouble might I get in out there? So again, nothing planned, nothing talked about, and I had Ron Starr, and I shot him into the chairs. I said, reverse it. He didn't know what the heck I was going to do. So I took the Ric Flair bump, the one he takes into the turnbuckle, which is actually the crippler Ray Stevens bump, because we all borrow from each other. And I was borrowing from Rick, who borrowed from crippler Ray Stevens, and I took that upside down bump into those rows of empty chairs. You ready for this? Knocked down 72 of them. I bet you're wondering if it hurt. Go ahead and ask me. I don't know. I was just so happy to look at all the chairs laying down on the ground. It reminded me later in my career in 1999 when I was in the second ever Buried Alive match. Everyone here is a wrestling fan, right? I don't have to explain what a Buried Alive match is, right? We just accepted something we used to do, okay? And this was said to be a tag team contest. The Undertaker and the Big Show taking on me as Mankind and the scrappy youngster who at one point seemed to have a lot of potential. Don't hear from him much anymore, but his name was Wayne Johnson. And I walked out onto that ramp and with Big Show, and I said, Show, do you think you could throw me off this ramp into that open grave? And he looked at a grave that was about 20 feet away. He said, absolutely not. I said, I think you can. And he said, Jack, I'm telling you, I cannot. And I said, Show, if you run with me and throw me as far as you possibly can, and I get a 3-step approach, I think I can come close. And he looked at me and goes, I don't think I can, but I'm willing to find out. So, show of hands if you think I came close to that grave. Little thing, yeah. Yeah, I came about 2 feet short, but I skipped right into that thing. It was like the greatest hole-in-one ever delivered, right? And this is where your last name would hurt, go ahead. I don't know. I was just so happy to be at the bottom of an empty grave on one short hop. Wasn't thinking about my physical well-being. And then something amazing happened that can only happen in professional wrestling. The Big Show, 7 feet tall, 400 pounds, with abs at the time. 7 foot, 400 pound giant with abs, wearing a Speedo. And knee-high leather boots, reached into an open grave from which a 6 foot 4 inch, because I was taller than people thought, 310 pound man, give or take a few pounds, with a brown leather mask, came out of that open grave and put a sock puppet in his mouth. That's the sock puppet, my friend.
Well, fans, there you have it. Only at SICW do you see so many legends come together in one place, and that was at SICW Fanfest IV. And if you think that's something, wait until Fanfest V. But right there, you saw Mick Foley doing his one-man show, and he had the crowd rolling. And I mean, the way he treated the fans, and it was just a great time. And that's what we do here at SICW. We are making more memories and keeping the tradition of SICW Championship Wrestling, following in the footsteps of Wrestling at the Chase. So when you see and hear them talk about Wrestling at the Chase, you're seeing SICW.